So this week, if you've had an eye or an ear out anywhere with any regard to any mainstream media of any kind, social media as well, you've seen Prince Harry all over the place promoting his book. And you might be asking, Jess, what in the wide world are you doing talking about the Royals? And y'all probably know my opinion about the Royals. Not a big fan. Don't really understand the hubbub, but I do understand that the Royals were pretty much the beginning of reality TV. They were reality TV for all the boomers before there were the Kardashians or any other reality TV mainstream personalities, so I get the fascination, although I don't understand it at all. We won the Revolutionary War for a damn reason. Prince Harry, though, comes to mind as an interesting figure to us because he's a rugby man. So whenever England is playing another country, Prince Harry's actually Duke of, well, I don't know how it all works out. They're dukes of this and lords of that and all that BS, but he's always at rugby matches. He played rugby growing up. So an interesting cat to follow along with, and definitely seems like he's a bit of a counterculturalist. Him and Meghan up and out and from the royal family, and they're I guess just celebrity figures now, but he's really going all in on this book, throwing his brother under the bus. Lots of blaming, which it is what it is, man. More power to him. He's trying to sell a book. Talking a lot about how dark things were for him, though, after his mom died, dealing with grief. And what I found interesting was how forthcoming he was, because it's becoming so mainstream, his experiences with psychedelics recently. So he's talking on 2020 or Dateline or, gosh, I don't know, CBS 60 Minutes about ayahuasca, psilocybin, and how those helped him process his grief apart from drugs and alcohol, which it sounds like he was using, self-medicating with those for quite some time. I just think it's so interesting that really just this last year, it's become so mainstream and so acceptable. Obviously, laws have changed in states like Oregon and Colorado. Some other states have decriminalized the use of psilocybin. There's the FDA working on a PTSD study for using psilocybin medically. But I just find it fascinating. You've got Aaron Rodgers jumping on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about ayahuasca. You've got Prince Harry talking about it. It's becoming very, very mainstream now, and I think that's great. I think that if it's something that you feel drawn to that might be able to help you, you should definitely track it down and give it a shot. I just think there's a word of caution there for it becoming this trending fad where people are using it as a status symbol or using it as a reason to create content or as a way to develop something to tell a story about. I'm not trying to virtue signal or be holier than thou or anything like that, but I would definitely kind of search your motives if you're going to try that stuff out and make sure that it's for yourself, not for your brand, not for social media, not for the stories you can tell. Because if you go into it and those are your intentions, whether you speak those intentions or those are your subconscious intentions, I don't think you're going to have the experiences that you want to have. And while I've found it to be monumentally helpful to me this last year, 2022, I do think that there needs to be caution around it in terms of why are you using psychedelics? What is your motive? What's the reasoning behind it? I think if it helped Prince Harry find balance and get to the bottom of his grief, that's awesome. I think that it's very interesting when people almost invent drama just for the sake of creating clickbait, just to get eyes on their book, eyes on their interview. You've got to, however, you got to balance that out with it is becoming more mainstream, and I think it's positive that we're talking about mental health, especially that men are. Jonah Hill has a new movie up on Netflix, him and his counselor talking about him working through some things. I mean, if you're not happy with your life the way it is, a better life is out there waiting, but you got to go reach out and get it, and you got to do the work. And I think maybe the misconception about psychedelics is that you can just take this substance, just like popping a big pharma pill, and it's just going to solve the problem, and you're going to move on without having to do any work. And we all know that's not true, whether we tell ourselves that or not. Anything worthwhile is going to be difficult. Anything easy is probably not going to be worthwhile. That's a pretty reasonable rule of thumb that I try to observe on the daily. If it's easy, it's probably not worthwhile. If it's worthwhile, it's probably not easy. Maybe that's not always true, but it's sure true way more than it's not true. Just like if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Hey, what's up? Thanks for checking out my clips here on YouTube. You can also check out other clips on Instagram and TikTok at JESS from the Northwest. I've also got a ton of other great content here on the YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys down the road.